To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Bring us down. Bring us down. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the Indie Wrestling Corner with your episode Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the queen of the indies, Tiffany. And today, this is like a long time coming interview. Pretty much. And now like with your background going on here, I feel like I should have did a red layout now pretty much. But we roll with the punches around here. So it's my good friend Xander from Raze Lighting. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am good. I am good. What's going on, everybody in the chat? So guys, if you're new here to the Rope series, I here interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, referees, promoters, backstage. That's what we're doing some today. That's this guy. This guy. So I got you covered. If you guys have any questions for Xander, please feel free. Drop them into the chat. I'm sure Xander will be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So, man, it's nuts. Like, again, I know you a couple of years now. And it's just nuts to me because I remember of so-and-so promotion that doesn't exist anymore. That's like when I started seeing you around and I was told that pretty much that it was like, you see the lighting guy, like he's 16, and I was like blown away because I saw you like running around putting scotch tape on like, you know, the wires, and I'm like, this is nuts. He's 16. He owns his, like, you know, his own lighting company. Like, obviously now I know more about you, but in my mind then I was like, oh damn, I was like, is he like part of somewhere, like, you know? And then it was like, no, it's his business, which is really, really cool. And like, people already know you in the chat, which is great. So, but before we get into that, let's go back. Let's go back and start from the beginning. Like, I want to know like how you got into wrestling, you know, growing up. Who's been your favorite, like independent wise? Was it always like, you know, the mainstream, or you just always had a thing for independent scene? Tell us a little bit.
All right. First comment. I don't use scotch tape to tape
Well,
down.
I'm sorry. Wrong. Like, I'm sorry.
It'll end in a total disaster.
That's not what I meant. I'm sorry. We gotta have some laughs around here, but no, seriously.
But I pretty much started when I was young, or I'm still young technically.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been that long. But when I was like 10 years old, even younger, like 8, 7, as long as I can remember, I always was watching Raw and SmackDown with my dad, like every Monday or every Friday night, sometimes just the next day when I can, since I wasn't allowed to stay up late.
Yeah.
So I just watched it. I adored it. I loved it. I always had like my minifigures that I always had, and I always used to make. I didn't play with them. Like I kind of used them to make entrances out of them.
Yeah.
Like I make my own custom stage designs that I do. Like I did a whole entire like WrestleMania theme outside my backyard once. Like it was literally I made a ramp that's 10 feet long. The stage
Wow.
was huge. Had LED strips, had lights, everything. I made it look fantastic. It's somewhere. I know I posted it somewhere, but it's out there.
Yeah.
I'll probably repost it again then.
Yeah.
It was a huge project, but like when I was younger, I used to make smaller ones. Like I didn't have any lights. I just made I just used things that I had around my house.
Mhm.
Like a laundry bin was like for example, is like a giant LED wall, or like I used like an old lamp as like the spotlights for the ring. And then eventually when I first started getting into it, I started making it more elaborate with like moving lights and then like actual things where I could control on a board and everything like that. Now I don't do it so often because it takes a lot of time now for me to set them up and make them, because I like to make them as realistic as possible with the highest quality. I just don't have the time for that because I'm being booked like every week.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time just to keep my stuff there. I set it up and I had to break down like in like 2 days,
Yeah.
clean it all up, because it's a lot of moving. But I used to watch wrestling all the time. I still watch wrestling today. But like my favorite wrestlers when I was growing up was Cody Rhodes when he was like the heel gimmick, like the mask when he had it. Like he by far one of my favorites. I just loved it. I also really loved. So this is a surprising one for most people, but when I was really first started watching wrestling, I always enjoyed the all American Jack Swagger.
Yeah. Oh,
as
cool.
one of my favorites. It's an odd one. Like I love John Cena at the time, but it was really like Jack Swagger. Like I had like 2 Jack Swagger figures and I had like 1 Cena.
Right. No, it's cool, but everybody has like their favorites. It's not always like the like you said, like the John Cenas or whatever, like the Seth Rollins or whatever. You have your other favorites that are maybe as big or like So, but that's really
I just
cool.
love them as a character, and
Yeah.
pulled me in, and I was a fan.
Yeah. Awesome. So, it's funny, like, as like I put this tweet out, I wanted to I always like incorporating my fans with their questions, and sometimes like I have already typed out my particular questions, and then when the tweets come in, I actually remove my questions because I like to give my fans the credit for them. So, but Brad, our good friend Brad, my best friend Brad, he put out a fan tweet. He goes, "So out of all the things you do for pro wrestling, how did you realize that lighting was what you wanted to do?"
Oh, it's pretty simple. I watched wrestling. I saw the staging, and I'm like, that looks cool. I want to know how that works.
That's crazy. Hey, Fury.
It's as simple as that, and helping support my idea of like making my own stages. Really, like I didn't play with the figures. I made the stages for them and had LED strips and like some other small cheap lights, but it worked well. But when I got the chance to actually do lighting, it was with a friend of mine who taught me how to learn. His name, he goes by Chris Gardner. He taught me how to do it. It was at a WrestlePro show. It was back in like 2017, like in November, September. I don't remember exactly. It was fall of that year. He brought me in, and I learned the ropes basically, or the cables.
Wow.
On lighting, and I loved it. Like I enjoyed it. I'm like, this is so cool. This is so awesome. And I just loved it ever since. And then later on, 2018, when I turned 14, I bought my first lights, and I asked to work with WrestlePro and become their lighting guy, and I've been their lighting guy ever since. And I'm now working with like 10 plus promotions now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I can't even count them. It's too many.
It's a good thing. It's a real great thing. Actually, Invictus is in the chat. What's up, Invictus? He said, "Best lighting guy in the game. See you on the 29th." So
Yes, I'll be there.
yes,
I'll
I will
on
be
the
there too. So I'm really looking forward to that. I feel like I see Xander everywhere, pretty much, right?
That's a good thing for me.
Yes, I see you all the time. Like it's great. And like with me doing this podcast, obviously everybody knows I go all over the freaking place. So I see you like all the time. Like, oh, Xander's here, great. Like that, like the lighting's on point. It looks great. Like he is the real deal. So if you want your promotion to look good, book him. It's just so awesome. So I mean, you touch base, you talked about how you learned about lighting, so there goes that. So how did Raze lighting come about?
All right, this is the most stupidest but most hilarious story of how I got the name Raze Lighting. So obviously as a kid, like I always wanted to be a wrestler. It's just something I just wanted. I was a kid watching wrestling, and I always loved it. But I can never find like a proper name. I love my first name. I want to keep my first name as like my wrestler name, but I can never find the last name.
Right.
So eventually, I think I forgot the year, but it was like 2016, 2015, maybe a little bit earlier than that or later. I don't remember the specific dates when. I was down in Florida with my grandparents down by Deerfield Beach. There is a place called Burger Craze. They could probably fill in the blanks from there. Remove the burger. And the logo, since it's right by the beach, like across the street from the beach, they had the cool logo design of having the C in Craze as like a wave. I didn't see the wave as a C. I just saw it as like a logo.
Mm-hmm.
So I just saw Burger Raze. And I'm like, I like the word Raze. I'm going to take that. My wrestling name is going to be Xander Raze now. And then when I started doing lighting, I'm like, I need to find a name. I can't just be Xander Lighting. That sounds boring.
Yeah.
It sounds so boring and generic. So I was like, oh, I got this perfect name. I've been using it for a while anyways. Let's put Raised Lighting instead. Boom. Now it's Raised Lighting.
Well, thank
That's
you,
how I
Burger
got the
Joint. Thank you, Burger Joint, pretty much.
I want to go to that burger joint, hopefully this year, and tell them the story.
You should.
And they already know the story. My grandparents already told them.
Oh,
the story
okay.
about it. I want to go personally about it and see if we get a free burger.
Yeah, or maybe you could get sponsored.
I'll take any sponsorship. the extra money to do some crazier things will be awesome.
Like, look, I'm coming here. I'll make your store look great with the freaking lighting. You need to sponsor me. I'll put like a burger logo on my shirt or something. Now you got to find out if there's like any wrestling promotions like near there. See, we got to make this work. So anybody that knows, let Xander know. But definitely, if you tell this, if you do this, like, I would definitely want to hear how it turned out. So hopefully, you get some.
Oh,
good
for
food.
sure.
All right. So how many? I know, like you said, it's like impossible, right? Like, how many promotions have you worked? Like,
I don't know at this point. There's so many promotions I've done like one-offs for so far. There's a lot of promotions like I'm basically their full-time lighting guy.
yeah.
It's just so many. I'm just booked every week, which is good. Since this is my only source of income and
Right.
all the money that goes into this pretty much goes back to getting more equipment, upgrading new things, looking for future equipment. There you go. Bigger and better. I'm hitting the point where like the bigger and better is in like so much money. I'm like, it's gonna take me a while to get the new amazing good equipment, but I was like, just can't wait.
Yeah. And it always probably like updates too, right? Like you'll have one thing and then like, right? Is it like a phone pretty much? Like something newer comes out like quick after, or like once you buy like certain equipment?
Some of the equipment that I've recently bought have been like out there, not like used, but like new, but like it's not new like a phone. It's not like the brand new iPhone 14 or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is like the iPhone like 10, but it still does its job amazingly, and it's still new, so it still works just fine. Like lighting, there's lights that have been like in Broadway that have been used for like 20 plus years and still work fantastically. Lights luckily are the one things that actually keep its price and really keeps its value if you treat it up and keep it. You can't just like throw it on the ground and expect you to sell it for the same price, but if you take care of it, it will pretty easy to resell. But I'm not planning to resell any.
No. I'm just thinking like, what happens if like something newer comes out and like you're like, damn, I want that now. Like I'm sure that's maybe like probably happens too, right? Like new upgraded pretty much, or it doesn't work like that light now.
Newer upgrade stuff, but I've seen like some new lights that are like completely innovative. I'm like, that's cool. I want that.
Saving up pretty much for those cool things. So how long, does it take to set up like, a venue for you?
It really depends. On average, it's like 3 to 4 hours. I always say 4 hours just so I have the extra hour, just to be safe. I don't like being rushed at all, because when things rush, mistakes happen. and when mistakes happen, it doesn't look good.
Right.
So I'm like, give me the extra hour. Let me take my time. Let me make sure everything's done right. And also having extra time, like to program things, fix things. Like luckily this past weekend at a show, I was able to fix my show file. It was still broken, still being fixed. Some bugs were still being worked on. I was like, able to fix them. So having the extra time to be able to fix things, make things look good,
Right.
is always a plus. So I always say like 4 hours, maybe a little more, depending on the venue. Because there's times where like I'm like climbing like 2 flights of stairs with my equipment, and
Oof.
that sucks.
My goodness. What's like the longest, like probably like the longest part of you putting things together at a venue?
The longest part is probably just taking everything out of my car. If not, then like just taping every cable down safely, so no one trips on my cables.
Yeah, we don't
Probably the
need
longest
that.
part. It's just very tedious. It's like the one thing I dread every single time.
Yeah. Oh man.
Everything else is fun. I'm like, I could do this all day.
Oh man. Hey, Conrad's in the chat. Everything Pro Wrestling. Shout out to him. Give him some love on his channel. That's my good friend. So what has been like, or like where has been your favorite venue to put together? There's got to be those places like you walk in, like this is a gorgeous venue, and it's like the ideas of like how you want to set up your lighting. Like where's been that place?
Well, my favorite place to always set playing is what I basically call my home. Is Rahway, the rec center. It's a fabulous building. I love that building a lot. Sure, it's annoying because like all the outlets is like 100 feet away, but it's a great building. I always enjoy it. I got so many ideas for that building. I just don't have the budget or the equipment to do it just yet, but I got so many cool ideas for that building that I know I could pull off. I just can't wait till I reach that point. But definitely the other building was actually like I think like 2 weeks ago now, was when I was down in North Carolina for the first time, and I was in the Raleigh Convention Center, and it was just this huge convention space that we had. It wasn't the whole thing. It was like a third of it, but it was still like impressive enough for me to be like, this is awesome. So I set up lights there. We had lights out for it, and it looked just amazing. Like I have I posted on my Twitter and I think on my Instagram as well. I think as well as Facebook. You'll find it. It's pretty easy to find it. Of just this shot from like very, very far back in the balcony, and just seeing the whole stage and seeing the ring with the lights out. It just looked gorgeous to me, and it was a cool building to work with for the first time. I definitely would like to go back one day and hopefully do even more, go bigger.
Oh man, it's exciting. It's just exciting just to see your growth, and again, like different promotions, different places. You see like the lighting, the setup. Like you were just at Violence and Suffering recently, and that looked really freaking sick with the light tubes like hang up with your lighting, and it looked like it glowed, and like it was it was really cool. Like I love these effects that happen. Like it's just I could never do anything like. I'm lucky I can podcast. Like I don't, like you got all this crazier background than me, and I'm like, damn. I was like, I need to step up my game. Pretty much, that's what I feel like right now. But but it looked really cool. Look really.
The light tubes were unintentional. It was just like I put on the lighting for AJ Gray, and it was just like, oh, I did not know the light tubes could react like that to this green light. So I kept it, and it looked so cool on camera because of the glow. And I'm like, this is cool. Like, he amazed me, and I'm like, this is cool. I didn't know this could do this. Like, I'm watching Michael's screen next to me, Michael from Gopro. Yeah. And I'm like, this is cool. This is cool. Like, I'm just still like trying to get the lighting cues correct, and I'm just focused on like how cool. There's times where I impress myself, but.
You learned something new. You learned something new now. Like, oh, I could play off with the light tubes with my lighting. And like, it looked really great. Like, it was really a cool concept to see. So, do some of those promotions like that? They like, okay, well, I saw you work here or something like that, and like, I like this kind of effect, and like, they want you to do something like similar to that. Does that happen?
Weirdly enough, it doesn't happen much. I do get like the message to be like, I saw you work here. It was really cool. But most of the time they are just like, I love your work so much. I trust you. Have fun. Like they gave me just a full just heads up, go right ahead, everything. And then I was like, cool, that makes things easier and more stressful.
Yeah.
Makes things easier because I could do what I've normally been doing, but it makes it more stressful because I don't know half the roster yet.
Right. No, that's really, really neat. Oh man, I'm just like thinking about it. Like again, like just throughout like the last year, I've seen you all over the place, and you know we're gonna get into like some of the other questions with that too. But you brought up GoPro. I love those guys. I've had them on the pod. Well, a good chunk of them I had on the podcast. Shout out to Darren. Darren does our music for the On the Rope series and my indie talks. I'm just like, it's so crazy how a bunch of us like met, and now it's like I see you guys all the time, you know, different promotions. It's great. So talk to us a little bit how like GoPro is with you, what they mean to you. You know, you're like really connected with them. It's kind of like one kind of unit with you guys now, it seems like.
Oh, for sure. It really started off at WrestlePro when we really first met, like when I was starting really early. Like I was really the only lighting guy around at the time. Like there was other lighting guys, but I made myself a name and made myself aware. So I started getting connected to like PPW and such like that. And then I think the one show that really brought us more together was when they asked me to do their show, Go Big or Go Home. The poster's up here.
Yeah,
They asked me to do the lighting for it. And I was like, sure, I could do it. I'll love to do it. Like the card was stacked. Like there's nothing beating this card.
Yeah.
I love that show. It's still one of my favorite shows by far. And it was just that show really brought us together more.
Yeah.
But it was really kind of earlier last year, where I kind of wanted to do more filming, just explore something else in the wrestling industry. Because I've done lighting for so long, I'm like, I want just a fresh take. I want to know what else is out there. I want to dip my toes in other ponds, I guess. So I volunteered to help film GCW's Fight Forever.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
That was my first show helping film, and it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of people there. That's where I started helping GCW out. I started help film GCW shows since then, and helping GoPro film shows as well all around. Brought me to Alaska, which was amazing.
Yeah, I will talk about that like after, because that was one of my questions. But yeah,
there's just so much to talk about. Like it's all just a straight path to now. It all happened just in a split second, and just so many memories, so much fun times. Even though they pick on me sometimes, but it's all good fun.
You're like the little brother that they all have.
I am the little brother.
You are the little brother that they all had. No, it's so great. The great people. Again, like if you guys want to check out that interview, go back on the Other Rope series. You can listen to that. Great people. I love them. So, but you know, you bring up like being camera guy. You know, I see you all the time at GCW a lot. Like, let's ask some questions about, you know, what has been some of your favorite matches while you're like filming, and you know what has been like, you know, I'm sure I know you are sure that, you know, dangerous spots happen all the time at GCW. So let's talk about some of that as well. Like, how do you avoid it? Like,
GCW is just insanely fun to film. It's even not the death matches, even they're sometimes crazy.
Yeah.
Like they have been having the scramble matches, which are insane. They're everywhere. I'm like, I'm filming over here. Now I'm filming over here. Now I'm filming up here. Now down here. Like I'm filming just anywhere. It's just nonstop action to keep filming anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's just so much fun. Trying to avoid danger spots is hard, but it's worth it. There's times where I've been hit with glass. I was like, oh, I just gotta continue doing my job. I'll be fine. I remember my first like real death match I filmed. It was Ashes to Ashes, and it was the glass ceiling match. By far one of my favorite filming shots I've done was the filming shot of G Raver and Jamie Lloyd on the top of the scaffolding, falling down, doing a suplex through the glass ceiling. Like that was my favorite shot I've done yet. I got covered in glass. Like after that match, like I just just went like that to my hair, and it was just like, huh, I didn't know glass dandruff existed. Like, there's glass in my pockets for like days. Like 2 weeks later, I'm like still pulling glass in my pockets. I'm like, why do I still have glass in my pockets? Like just glass stuck in my shoe for like a while, and just so much glass.
Yeah, it's a lot. I know, who was it? Sky put a tweet out the other day talking about, how do you survive your first deathmatch tournament? Give me everything. And I was like, bring goggles. I remember, I think Frank gave me goggles for one of the shows because I was all up in the front. It was, I think it was that match actually. And it was just funny because like Raver wind up wrestling at H2O the next day too, which was hilarious. I'm like, how did he just do this freaking go through all this glass and now he's wrestling the next day at H2O? Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, so I always tell people, wear long pants. Be aware that glass is going to be flying everywhere.
Yep.
And I kind of have a habit that I throw my arm up in front of my face if I'm not wearing goggles or anything like that, because if they're coming your way, I've been cut. So, and oof, I give you guys, like you and Billy, you guys are all the way up in the front getting hit by glass and barbed wire, even the photographers too. You guys got to be very, very careful. So, but that's a cool experience too for you. Like you said, that's like one of your favorite moments at like GCW. So, but be safe, please.
I love it all.
Be safe.
Billy and I got so used to the glass, we just know exactly how to time it.
You're right.
We're just, because we only wore I only wore goggles just once,
right?
And that was the glass ceiling match.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise than that, I never wore gloves. I never wore goggles. Really, I just timed everything. Like Billy and I really just timed it. We're all just so used to it being like 3, 2, 1, just close our eyes real quick. All the glass is gone, and we just get used to it so much. We know how to time it.
I know you guys get asked like a lot to do GCW, like that they really want you and Billy mostly to do a lot of the camera work over there, especially in AC.
Oh yeah, for sure. We love doing it, and we don't mind doing it at all. Mm-hmm. Sure, the cameras could be heavy at times, but we just got used to it, and we know what GCW wants. Like we get praised a lot on Twitter for our camera shots, which is awesome. Like at the end of the show, Billy and I are just looking at the hashtag, and we're all looking and being like, "Oh, look, that's my shot. They used my shot." And Billy's like, "No, look, I used that shot." So we're just comparing, and just we both just look and we're like, "It looks so good." And we're both happy with ourselves. It makes us that extra boost of confidence that we could keep going, that we could do more. There's times where we do mess up, yes, but we all just learn from it, and we're like, all right, now we know for next time that these two guys are crazy.
I mean, look, I give you guys like a lot of credit. I mean, you're holding the camera like sometimes like 4 hours pretty much worth of it, and like I've hung out with you after some of the GCW shows, and like you're like, okay, my arm hurts. Like like I couldn't do it. Like I give you a lot of well, maybe I should say that because I'm sitting with my camera at a lot of shows doing backstage shit, so I know how it is. But I think your camera is a lot heavier than my little camera. My professional camera, but I'll give you a lot of credit. So see, that's why I always say everybody's important when it comes to independent wrestling. So this guy right here, he busts his butt. So speaking about the GoPro guys, they gave me a lot of fan questions for you, just so you know. So Darren gave me a couple. So we're gonna start with the first one. Darren said, "What entrance venue is he most proud of lighting wise?"
Darius Carter.
Ooh,
there's just nothing that could beat that right now. It's just so much fun. Mm-hmm. I got so used to it. I'll probably do it with my eyes closed.
Wow. Okay.
I probably don't even need to be there anymore. It just does it by itself at this point.
That's cool. I love Darius.
Doing his entrance always like has my arms shaking right before it because I know when his entrance hit it. I'm always trying to incorporate new ways as well. So I'm like always so nervous. Like, all right, I don't want to mess up. I gotta make this look good as best as possible. I'm trying to make it look good as best as possible each time. But Darius Carter is by far one of my favorites I've done straight up. Like I would love to do more custom entrances. Like anyone watching, like if you want a custom entrance before the show really starts, before doors, come up to me and give me your ideas. I'll love to do my best and bring your entrance idea to life.
Look at that.
I don't mind. Hit me up. If
Wow.
if you just want a specific color, just let me know. I'll love to do it. Makes
See?
me know what you want, and I could make it happen. It's super easy.
Wow. That's cool. That's like really cool, like the details part of it. So it's got to be very tedious um, to do that. But you're old pro now, so it's like nothing
I
day
don't,
and
it's not,
night.
to the standard person, it's probably tedious, but for me, it's just fun.
Right.
Just fun.
No, that's great. His next question is, what are some fundamental lighting tips he wished talent knew for the GoPro? It's when they don't know where hard cam is while posing, talking.
That happens a lot. Tips really is when you're coming out the entranceway, or like you're doing a pose at the entranceway, when they're like, I just won the belt, yada yada yada, and they're doing a final pose at the entranceway. Make sure, like, if I have lights set up there, you're in the light. Sometimes they're like, all right, here's 2 lights, and they're like really far out, and like you can't see them anymore. They're just in the pitch black, and I'm like, step back a little bit. Look, now you're in the light. Now people could see you. People could cheer for you. That's pretty much probably the only tip. If you see light, be over there. Like, it's not really much. It's just get yourself seen.
Mhm.
You don't want to be hiding in the shadows. You don't want let people see you.
Right.
I do my best to light you up, to make you seen, and do it. Be creative. Have fun with lights. Go ahead. Tip. Another tip is just let me know what you want.
There you go.
I'll make it happen.
Talk to the guy. Talk to him. Let him know what you want. His last question says, most importantly, why does he eat Chinese during every show?
I do it a lot. Like, I think there's like only some shows I've not eaten Chinese food, but it's like something else.
Mhm.
It's either like it's Chinese food or no Chinese food. I just never wanted the other.
Mhm.
I think the only time I haven't had Chinese food was probably at the GoPro show when they had catering there.
Mhm.
It was delicious.
That's
The only time I
great.
probably haven't had Chinese food at a show.
Mhm.
But the reason why is just it's simple, it's cheap, I know exactly what I want, and it's pretty much the same thing anywhere, and it's easy to get anywhere. It's just how things work.
Okay.
I love Asian cuisine.
There you go. So our next fan question's from Frank. He goes, how strange is it to be the student of one of your coworkers in wrestling's best friend?
That's that day when I went to school and I found out Frank's best friend is my teacher was just insane to me. It was just, I was like, it was one time I didn't turn in my math work.
Oh no.
One time. And the teacher told me, being like, make sure you turn that math work in by Monday. I'm like, all right, don't worry, I got it. And I was doing work on the weekend. For Saturday, I was going to get the math work done Sunday where I had nothing scheduled. So I was like, cool, I have time to do it Sunday. I'll do it Sunday. And Frank came up to me and be like, make sure you get your math work done. I'm like, he's in here.
Oh, you're in
Can I
trouble.
not escape?
You're in trouble. That's funny. That's great.
Sometimes the other way around. Or I tell the math teacher to tell Frank something.
Oh,
Like get his
you're the-
production box from my car. Which
Oh,
he had
wow.
in my car for like 2 months. He was just chatting with me for 2 months.
Oh, that's great.
I carried it everywhere. I'm like, Frank, get your box.
Oh my
Imagine
goodness.
my math teacher being like, tell Frank to get his box from my car. I still have his box from my car.
Ooh, Frank.
He has it now, so
Yeah.
he's not in trouble.
Okay, cool. All right, so we have another fan tweet. Billy, our good friend Billy, he's got 2 questions for you. He says, the first one, how many years have you been an undercover cop?
As long as you know, Billy. I got to remain undercover.
This has
Can't-
been the
Telling too many secrets.
this is the Bust Xander Balls pretty much podcast. Then his other question is he wants you to share your favorite TJ Epic story.
Do I want to though?
Yes, because me and TJ are in a feud on social, so give me any ammunition so I can use it against him.
I think I know which one he's referring to. It was when I was in Atlantic City. And I was sharing a hotel room with Billy, Cody, and TJ Epix.
Hmm.
And I knocked on the door, wanted to get in. I just wanted to drop my stuff off. I think it was, or go to sleep. And he opened the door, and he's just in his underwear. And the first thing he says, like, I should probably not be opening a door in my underwear in front of a minor. I'm like, I was like, I'm almost 18. You'll be fine.
Oh man, I love it. Too
I'm
funny.
not sorry.
No, you're not sorry. Well, there you have it, pretty much. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Alaska. Tell us a little bit about that experience for you, because it's like Alaska. Like, here it is. You go for Wrestle Pro. You know, you go with the GoPro. Like, even the photo. Like, I was really excited for you too to go to like Alaska. So like the photos that you were posting, like they didn't even look real. It looked like this fake background, which is just wild. Like, so tell us how your experience was. How was the food? How was the wrestling? Give us it all.
It was really nice in general. Like, the food was good. The water was the best water I've ever had, because it was all glacier water, so it's just like the best. I don't know what's gonna beat glacier water for any place I go for, like a restaurant. It's like, it's not tap water, it's just glacier water. They just grab like a scoop of ice from outside and just melted it or something. I don't know. The water was great. That's my favorite part about Alaska, just the water. I miss the water. It was delicious, nice cold.
Oh.
But the trip was nice. The ridiculously long air travel was insane. I was coming back from school, and I had to rush from school straight to the airport as fast as I possibly can to make the flight. And once I got on the flight, like, I was in the middle seat both times, and Michael's just next to me, just laughing, and I'm like, oh, thank you. He's in the aisle. I'm over here, like, you know, ball of like no space, like, because my backpack was filled with just equipment and just mic stuff I wanted to bring. I really wanted to try VR in Alaska and see how well that will go. So I brought my whole VR headset. So it took up so much space in my backpack. Like, my backpack didn't fit underneath the seat.
Oh my.
I pretended it did. I'm like, oh, don't worry, it's totally under there, as far as it could go. I had like no legroom, like there and back, but I just fell asleep the whole time. Just to make the time go faster. I time traveled. But it was so much fun traveling around. I didn't do any of the driving. I would just stay in the car in the front seat, be like, wait, look, it's snowing.
Wait, I gotta stop you right now, because this feud's gonna continue right now. First of all, TJ FX is in the chat, and so is Billy. Okay, and me and TJ are gonna fight right now, because he goes, was he talking about how he likes sheets more than Wawa? Shut up, TJ. Go away. Okay, like, you can leave now. Okay, like, nobody cares about you. All right, we told a story about whatever. You know what? You could go back and go watch the video to see what the hell he said about you. So.
I'll make a comment on it once I can.
I can't deal with you.
Go, Billy.
Billy's replying to TJ saying, I'm at work, but I'm hoping that went as I expected. Shut up, TJ. See what I'm saying? He said sheets really get lost. Okay. All right. Let me wait before you continue on. I seen another thing in the chat. Blaze the Wolf Boy says, I have a question. How does it feel to be your best friend's boss when he works at your shows?
All right, so recently I've been starting to bring on people to train. So because I can't every single show. I can't be like doing GCW and lighting in the same place. I just can't. So I've been training some people, and that is one of my friends. Currently one of my best friends in school, and I'm currently training him to do lighting and set things up. Very, very early process staging, but it's very weird. But I don't mind that I'm my best friend's boss. He likes it. I treat him as I would a friend. He gets paid well, so
Hey,
I,
expansion, man. Expansion to Raze lighting.
I'm jealous of GoPro having 2 teams, so I want to have 2 teams.
Damn. Hey, it would work alike. Be two places at once. He also wrote his connection in the VR world was so bad in Alaska. He goes, I'm laughing my ass off right now because I'm here watching this during my McDonald's shift.
He's currently watching this at work.
Aw, well,
I told
thank
him
you.
to join it and ask me questions.
Aw.
I'll answer anything.
Aw. TJ said
but
he
yeah.
loves you, but he hates me, but he loves you, you know? So.
Okay. I just told you a very embarrassing story. I'm surprised he still loves me.
He didn't watch it. He came in after the story, so he's gonna have to like continue this podcast if he wants to go back. I'm sorry. I just love ripping on TJ just a little bit. So so yeah, back to Alaska. So is there plans like to go back?
I want to go back.
Mhm.
I know GoPro has been doing like the
Yeah.
fly there, fly back, but I will be willing to do it. But I would really love to do what we did back, even if it's just like a little bit longer of a weekend. Like this had to be like 11 days straight in Alaska. When I was there, like even just like 4 days would be awesome. Just to go back and just I want to go in the wintertime because I went during the springtime. I really want to know like full Alaska cold weather. Since I love the cold. Cold is my favorite, except when I'm outside and I'm loading up my car and it's cold. And I'm like, this is boring. I want to just jump in the snow.
Oh man. It's too funny. What's it called? In the chat, Conrad says, has anyone ever asked you to use your lighting equipment in a match?
Some people have. Most of the time I usually say no because I don't want them breaking them by accident. And I do not want to replace them or have them replace them.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have spare equipment that is broken anyways.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they get broken. Even more.
Oh my.
Stop at work.
Shit's expensive, okay? Like
It's expensive. Take your opportunities. Book that spot now.
oh my. So is there like a bucket list of where you like state-wise or maybe out of the states that you would like to, do lighting for?
I would love just to do anywhere I can. Like I'm always grateful of just even doing a show in Virtual Park. Like just having that opportunity of someone's trust. Even me as like 17 years old, having someone's trust being like, yeah, do your thing, do your lighting. It's incredible. I'm always thankful. Obviously I would love to do more places. I love to go a bit more west. I really stayed really east currently, but I don't mind going west to do some shows. I've been offered to do some shows west, but at the time I was unable to because it was just pricing and the timing was bad. Like I had to, when I first started, my dad was with me at all times.
Right.
He was always driving. He was always driving for me because I couldn't drive at the time. And then eventually I got my learner's permit. Then I could drive, but I still had to have it on my car.
Right.
At the time, I couldn't really do far shows because he had work the next day sometimes, or we had other plans the next day. So it was always like we can't really go too far to do it. But now that I'm driving myself most of the time, it's really cool to go even farther. Like this year so far, I've been to Massachusetts and then drive straight down to Atlantic City the next day. I've done VXS in South Jersey and then North Carolina the next day with my dad. Like I miss my dad coming to shows a lot, not just because he's a helpful hand, but just having the extra company and just having the experience is always awesome, especially having just someone who could run errands. Be like, I ran out of tape. Go find some. Or, as Darren would say, why do I have Chinese all the time? Dad, go give me some Chinese.
But it's
Go
cool
find
because
someplace.
I feel like everybody like looks out for you too. I know that through my own experience of like being in Atlantic City, and everybody's like keeping tabs with you and making sure you're good. So, we were having late night pizza, one of the Atlantic City shows. Like we go down to the other hotel because like that's where
yes.
everybody freaking goes. So, and gets like late night after a GCW Saturday show. Everybody's eating
Yeah,
pizza.
that weekend for me was like a really stressful weekend.
Yeah.
Because when I got there, I had plenty of money. I was like, okay, cool. I got money. I could easily don't have to stress-free weekend.
You're right.
But when I pulled into the parking lot, when I was paying for parking, because I did the Showboat parking lot instead of the other parking lot, which is cheaper. I didn't know at the time, so I just went to Showboat. They charged my car, and they're like, card declined. And I was like, what do you mean? I should have plenty of money. I checked my bank account. I had nothing. Just wiped. Someone found my card information and spent a lot of money on things. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I had $0 that whole weekend. But I just went scavenging around to anyone who could
help you out.
Just give me like $10. Michael was awesome enough from GoPro to let me borrow $100 for it. Not just from like other GoPro shows I worked for and him paying my travel expenses, but also just a little extra just to make sure I was like not stressing the whole weekend and really stressing out instead of just worrying about the filming, doing my best on filming instead of like focusing on where am I going to be, where am I going to sleep, that I could find somewhere to go. But that's the same weekend that Billy and Cody were able to hit me up and let me have a stay at a room, and that's why I was with them a lot. I got a lot of people taking care of me, which is awesome. I'm always very, very thankful for any opportunity, any help that I could get. Eventually, I really want to pay things forward, and I have been paying things forward as best I can. But like, especially when people ask me for money, like my friends and stuff like that, I'm always like, yeah, sure, go right ahead. Don't have to pay me back. I could take care of myself just fine. Just pay it forward. I definitely want to continue having that trend of paying things forward. Even if you can't do much things now, even just the simplest things, like just a tip or just a thank you for like people's work. It goes a long way for some people, and I consider that paying it forward. I have a lot of people who thank me for my work, and it's always incredible, and it always puts a warm heart or smile on my face. Even if I know like I messed up some places, being like, I messed up here, or like during the pandemic when I was not doing lighting for like 5 months, and when I did my first show back at a company, I did so many mistakes. I was so rusty and everything. I was just kind of beating myself up, being like, that was terrible. But then people really started telling me, be like, hey, it was a great show, great lights, it was amazing, had a lot of fun, and it really helped me out, being like, all right, cool. People enjoyed it at least, and the promoter liked it, which also means a lot to me, because doesn't matter the promoter. If they enjoy it, that's what's important to me, but it's also important that the fans like it as well. My favorite comments that I usually get, because my lights usually involve a few flashes and stuff like that. So when like someone like literally went up to me with epilepsy, being like, I love the lighting, I have epilepsy, and it's great, like I enjoy it so much. So I took that as a really, really huge compliment. Like it warmed my heart for the day, and I always grateful like that, because I obviously don't want someone with epilepsy to get triggered, but I also do want to have that like same atmosphere and have it look good.
That's
so
amazing.
that also makes things great, because I care about safety of everyone, not just some person, a fan. I also care people watching at home potentially.
Wow.
So I always try to have fun with it.
That is definitely, that falls into like my wrestling with positivity that I always do on this podcast. So it's like, I always talk about like, the positivity in wrestling. There's so much negative that, I love to focus on the positive, and just like to hear like comments like this, is just an amazing thing. And like, like you said, paying it forward, I believe in that too. Like it's such a great thing. And I remember that whole thing with Atlantic City. I felt for you. So yep. I felt for you. Like that's a horrible, horrible thing that happens. Wait, there's like another one. So Blaze says in chat, one of his lights is more expensive than how much I make in 2 months.
That is true. The lights I have for these are like $500 each, and I have 2 of them, so I technically have like $1,000 of lights behind me.
Jeez. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at like a little freaking ring light over here. Like $20 or whatever it is.
Lights.
There you go.
I also have ring lights. I don't use them, but I do have ring lights. I have like 4 of them.
It's funny, you brought up Michael earlier, and he had a question for you. He goes, he wanted me to ask you about his yearly cookie palooza him and his parents have. Now, is that like similar to my cookie fest? Because I popped.
I think so. Basically, my parents and I, or my parents, friends, family, just anyone who wants to come. It's just one weekend. It's like, basically just imagine GCW weekend, but no wrestling, just cookies.
Oh,
just
man.
Cookies, 24/7, nonstop. You can make cookies. We have supplies. You can make your own type of cookies. Doesn't matter what type of cookies. All cookies are acceptable. We have people like making rainbow cookies, making macaroons, making double chunky chocolate cookies. Some people make gingerbread. Some people do just amazing gingerbread art. Some people draw on the cookies, make it look nice. Just so many people come in at times. Obviously during the pandemic, and this year wasn't that much, but it's still a lot of cookies, and we always grab those cookies, and we usually just give it away to friends, family, anyone who wants them could always take them. It's just giving them away and just kind of like that fun weekend and giving the cookies away because I can't eat them all.
So do I get an invite to this next year? Because I'll come with my crazy cookie fest going on.
For sure. You're free to welcome. Free to join in.
I thought my 11 hours of baking was crazy, but
my mom does like 18 hours 3 days straight.
Damn. I used to like break it up by days, and then like I just do it all in one day, and then it's like, well, you've seen, like, I just, you never know, like I show up with cookies randomly at random places, so and then I get shit when I don't. So I just brought a couple to Chaotic Wrestling, and it was like, oh, I can't eat before a match, as he's shoving a freaking cookie in his mouth. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, you can't eat before a match. All right, whatever. So yeah, so we're gonna swap this year. So for cookies, since every year I always add like new cookies, and my spiral cookie was my favorite cookie this year. So that's what we're gonna do. That's cool. That's probably why Michael wrote that, because he probably figured that it would get me really excited with me and my cookies, because everybody asks for them. So what's some goals that you have for 2022?
2 teams.
Two
Two
teams.
separate teams, trained, ready to go, on a roll. That's the goal for this year, pretty much. I'm working on getting the gear to have full 2 teams by the end of the year, hopefully, if not early next year. That's definitely what I want, because I'm getting times where I'm getting double booked, and I have to say no to one company, unfortunately, but I would love to say yes to both companies and just have team A be me, and then team B be my friends or another person I'm currently training who is amazing. Chris Gardner, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, the person who trained me, unfortunately, is always so busy. He does a lot of theater stuff around New Jersey, so there's not many times where I could book him much, but I want to put him in the show. He's technically part of my crew. I technically count him as part of my crew. I'm like, come on, to be available one day. I want to do a show with him again, since the first one was back in 2017, so I'd definitely love to do another one with him. Probably our ideas will clash a lot. Be like, no, this looks good. No, this looks better. I don't know, but I just want to see how it'll go.
Send the resumes over to Xander. Like, he'll be taking, some applications, so we do some training. Get that second team going. So I hope that for you. That'd be great. So I have one final question for you, and then if anybody else has anything, please feel free to drop them in chat. So I always like to end my questions off with advice. Questions for those people looking to get into the business. What's a piece of advice that you would give?
Be kind to others. That's the major factor that I definitely mention to in the business. It's just being nice, being polite. being a good person, yeah, like promote. Like I'll be honest, like I don't want to work with an asshole. No one really wants to work with an asshole, but if you're nice, they're sure. I was like, oh yeah, you look nice. I'll definitely like to book you or give you a shot.
Right.
Being nice is very good. Obviously, if you're a heel character, that's a different story. But just being nice, getting in the business, definitely have some sort of trait to bring on the table. You were just like a standard person, you'd be like, I want to get into the business. It's like, okay, what do you provide? Like, have something there. Even just a little bit. I'm like, I'll love to see how I could do on camera or production work or sound maybe, or like, oh, I'm brand new referee. I've been doing some training or something like that. Just bring something on the table. If you want to start somewhere, or simple answer is just help with ring crew. I know there's a lot of places that would love help just ring crew all the time. Because there's so many times where I go into venue and like the ring's still being set up and they've been there for like an hour or 2 hours and it's only like 2 guys or like 4 guys. And it's like extra ring crew would definitely help. Sometimes I bring ring crew guys to help me with getting my stuff out of my car. I have a lot of stuff in my car, which all used to fit in a Toyota Camry, but not anymore.
It's gotta be a lot. It's gotta be a lot.
It all fit in a Toyota Camry somehow. I don't know how, but most of my equipment was able to fit in a Toyota Camry. But now they all fit into my Kia. Somehow. I'm still surprised. Like I got stuff like strapped to the roof now. I keep getting expanding constantly. But bring something to the table or just help out with ring crew or cleanup. That's another thing to help out with.
Yeah.
Just anywhere needs help. Or just show up and be like, hey, I'm here to help. Is there any way I could help? And I'm sure they'll probably put you somewhere. And just being nice, being polite, being respectful.
Yep. Definitely. There's some questions in the chat. Blaze says, hopefully I'll be trained by them to be another team. Jason says, do you have a dream match you'd like to light?
I don't know. There's so many.
Aw. Well, give us some then.
I don't know. I can't even think of one top of my head. I don't know. Hammer Time's coming up. I'll have to do the lighting for that.
It's gonna be great.
Like a match is there.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
It's gonna be exciting this Sunday. I got you guys covered. I have a panel coming on this Thursday with Queen of NE and Samster. So come hang out with us and talk some GC dub. Really looking forward to that. But that's exciting for you, like that. You know, this is such a monumental moment. You know, for GCW as a whole to be there, and then even like you being there working for it, it's insane. So, you know, good luck and enjoy it. Like, you know, it's great stuff. Blaze says, ask him, when will you give me the Coke that I won during Jinx?
I had some in the cooler in my back, in my trunk. I said you could take one, but you denied it. So you just said no to one, so you don't get one anymore.
Oh, damn. So tell everybody where like they could find you, they could support you, where they could book you. Like tell everybody also like what's some upcoming shows that they'll come see you. I guess bring you some Chinese food, pretty much. Like.
Oh, bring me Chinese food. My order is boneless spare ribs with fried rice with an egg roll. That's my Chinese order. Or give me a beef lo mein with fried rice and an egg roll. That's the combo platters, pretty much. Those are my Chinese orders.
That's great.
If anyone wants to find me, simple email is book@razelighting.com. Find me on any social medias at Raze Lighting. I'm super easy to find. Send me a DM. If you want to just simple, easy book, don't want to talk to me, you're just introvert, razelighting.com/bookings. There's a booking form. You could just fill the booking form out and submit it, and I'll take a look at it, and I'll send you a message if I could do the show or not. Upcoming shows for me, not just for lighting. I will be Team A or Team B will be at Pro Wrestling Magic, while I'll be in Connecticut for NEW helping out Gopro. Hammerstein Ballroom is that Sunday, and I'll be doing Invictus on the 29th, WrestlePro on February 5th, in Rahway, New Jersey. And then that's pretty much all I could say right now because nothing else is fully official yet. So
Oh, damn. Busy guy. I love it. I'm so excited for you. It's so exciting to watch your journey. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be at Invictus next week. Well, I'll be at Hammerstein this weekend too. So see what I'm saying, guys? Like, I see Xander all the freaking time. Like, all the time.
I'm everywhere.
He's everywhere.
I follow you.
When you figure
There you
out when you figure out that clone thing, let me know because I'd like to go support plenty of promotions and I can't do it because they're all booked on the same damn day. So I feel bad.
I've been there.
You know, so you feel me like as a podcaster and a supporter, like I feel bad all the time. So I try to do as much as I can. So I definitely feel that with you, but you know, I love you. You're amazing. You make it better. You know, you make wrestling better. And you're such a sweetie. So it's like, I mean, geez, you can be my son. But and anything you ever need, you know where I am. But thanks for like coming on and chatting with us so that everybody can learn a little bit more about you. Kyle, I think he said thank you for covering everything in the indie scene. Yes, everybody's important. Xander is very important to the indie scene. Okay, lighting, camera, everything. Like he's very important to the independent scene. So that's why we interview everything independent wrestling on here on the Under the Rope series. So, but Xander, again, thanks for coming here, chatting with us. Like, I wish you the best as always. You know, I'll see you this weekend.
Yes.
But yeah, so guys, all his links are in the description below if you want to book him or any questions, just all those links description below. So with that being said, guys, stay
Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Thank you for having me on the show. I greatly appreciate it to having me on the show. It was a bit of a blast. I loved it. If I don't mind plugging a little bit more things.
Yeah, go for it.
I still have booking available for this month. I also have booking available for February, March, April, and all of 2022 is available to book me entirely. But yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I've been waiting to be on.
I
this
know. I was being cautious. Yes.
Months and months.
Yes. I was being cautious with everything. So, you know, but I'm glad that we finally made this happen in 2022. So I had said 2022 was going to be a big year for interviews on the Indie Wrestling Corner. So again, thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys will probably see whatever. Sometimes if I work some backstage stuff, I'll get Xander on in the background. I saw him at Catalyst recently, so we did a little bit in the back over there. So you can check that Indie Talks episode out as well. And I'm sure, like I said, you'll probably see Xander, or like when he saw me at freaking what was it, Create a Pro, and then I took a picture and I posted and I was like, I see you, and then you took another photo of me like in the background. We have fun around here. But again, like anything ever, you know, thank you again. But guys, stay safe.
Thank you.
Support independent wrestling, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.